So now I want to talk to you about cruises. And the reason that I started cruising was because of my indecisiveness. I had no idea where I wanted to go. So I booked my second cruise ever with Royal Caribbean, and we went on Independence of the Seas. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information about this cruise ship than you're going to want. You're going to be like, why is she telling me this? And you'll see when you look at the pictures. But Independence of the Seas was built in 2012. It is a Freedom Class ship. We had a room with an ocean view. The room number was 1878 and it was on the 12th floor, and we had a guarantee room. So, what guarantee means is that you pick a type of room and then the cruise line chooses it for you. So, you don't know where you'll be on the ship. So, we picked a room with an ocean view, and Royal Caribbean decided to put us on the 12th floor in room 1878, and it was absolutely beautiful. So the room wound up having a panoramic window, and it was from floor to ceiling, and it was an entire wall. And that was something I wasn't anticipating because on my very first cruise I had a porthole window. So this is what Royal Caribbean chose for me. And I'm mentioning it because although the ship was built in 2012, this was a new area. And I think what they did was turn a dining room into cabins. And that's why the window was so nice. But I couldn't have been happier with that room. So it was super nice. In addition, there are other things about the cruise ship that I can't even describe, so I just have to show you the pictures. But it was extremely wonderful and overwhelming to see the mall, the casino area. It was just humongous. There was so much to do. And the class of ship is also important because it's enclosed. So every floor is enclosed and you go from one floor to the next. So when you look at the mall area, you will notice that there are windows to cabins that overlook the mall, which is going to be different from the next Royal Caribbean cruise that we took. So that's why I'm giving you that information. But I also want to tell you a little bit more about the cruise itself. So cruises include gratuity, and they also have a lot of extra charges that you don't necessarily know about. And one of them is the drink package. So if you don't get a drink package, you'll be drinking lemonade, apple juice, and water the entire time. So what I did is I got a soda package for my son, and I got a regular drink package that did not include alcohol. So when we got there, we got those IDs that showed that we had the drink packages, and then we had to pick up these cups that were like either 20 or 24 ounces, but they were plastic cups and they had chips at the bottom of them. And then they had Coca-Cola machines, you know, those machines where you can choose like different, like raspberry Sprite and all different Coke products of your choice. You took that cup and it had a chip in the bottom, and then that's how you were able to access the soda. So if you took your Stanley cup and tried to put it in that machine, it was going to give you an error message. So that's how the drink packages work on Royal Caribbean ships. So because my son had a soda package, that's the only thing that he got for free: soda and water. And then with my drink package, I could get coffee. So they had an area, or they had a cafe that had drinks that were very similar to Starbucks drinks. And that is where I got my coffee. I could also get virgin margaritas or virgin pina coladas and things of that nature. So those I was able to share with my son. So he got a soda package, I got a regular drink package, and then I had to pay for alcohol. In addition to that, we also got internet packages, two devices apiece, because I am somebody who stays in the room a lot. I enjoy that time in the cabin. I get my rest. So we got internet packages, and we also did specialty dining. So that includes restaurants that are on the ship that are not part of the meal plan. So specialty dining is normally, it starts at about $59 per person for dinner. So what we did is we chose places where we could get lunch. So there's a really good hibachi and sushi restaurant on board Royal Caribbean ships that we got lunch at, and I believe it was $29 for lunch per person. And we went there a couple times, and the experience was wonderful. So Those are some things to keep in mind when you're traveling with Royal Caribbean. So we had so much fun on Independence of the Seas that we immediately booked a second cruise for the month of June on Wonder of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. So Wonder of the Seas is actually an Oasis Class ship. So that means that it has open areas on the boat. So it's very different than the last class of ship we were on. So the entire middle of the ship is open. So you'll be like maybe on the seventh floor, and then you can look up and see the sky from there. And then they have the Central Park theme. So they have an entire floor. I believe it was the eighth floor, and it looked just like Central Park in New York. So there, it was like a park with all this green and all these nice like garden style restaurants. It was just really nice. And then they had a bar that levitated from one floor to the next. There was a slide. It wasn't a water slide, but it went from the 16th floor down to the 6th floor. And it was just a lot of fun. It was the best time. The ship again was stunning. A lot of the common areas were very similar to those on Independence of the Seas, but it was different because it was a different class of ship. So because it wasn't enclosed, there were balconies facing the inside. So there were people who had balcony cabins and they could look on to the common areas and see other people. But then there were also ocean view balconies on the outside. So that's one thing to keep in mind because those are going to be, the inside ones are going to be a little bit cheaper. So that was a wonderful experience. It made me really excited about the newer Royal Caribbean ships, which would be Utopia and Icon of the Seas. I think those are both. Um, are those, I'm trying to think of the type of ships those are. I believe Star and Icon are two new classes of ships. I believe one of them may be Oasis, but Star and Icon are just different classes of ships that they made. But either way, I want to go on them. I'm excited about them, and I am planning to take a trip, and I'll be able to give you a review on those as well. If you've been on them, feel free to let me know in the comments.